Coming up, we're bringing you the latest news in the world of politics.
Plus, we've got great recommendations to keep you informed and entertained with Bailey's Picks of the Week.
Also, get to the facts during Check the Facts with our student correspondent, Corey Talton. All this and more, you're watching Topicality. If it's Tuesday, it's time for Topicality. I'm Bailey Boyce.
And I'm Micah Beard. Let's jump right in. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson has not committed to bringing Congress back into session before the election, despite President Biden's call for additional funding for federal disaster recovery after Hurricane Helene. In an interview on Fox News Sunday, Johnson discussed Biden's request to restore some funding to the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program, which was already facing shortages. He noted that it takes time to fully assess disaster damages and confirmed that Congress will reconvene after the election. Johnson highlighted that $20 billion had already been allocated to the Federal Emergency Management Agency for immediate needs prior to the recess. Although Biden may seek supplemental funding for affected areas, no decision has been made about the special session. Johnson expressed confidence in bipartisan support for disaster assistance, stating that Congress will provide necessary resources when needed.
The last day to register to vote for the upcoming November 5th election was October 7th. Now, only weeks away from Election Day, here's what you need to know. You can vote in person before Election Day between October 21st and November 1st. Texas allows eligible voters to request a mail ballot. You can request your mail-in ballot with a mail ballot application. The deadline to do so is October 25th. When voting in person, you will be asked to show a photo ID. Acceptable forms include a Texas driver's license, Texas election ID certificate, Texas personal ID card, Texas handgun license, U.S. military ID with a photograph, a U.S. citizenship certificate with a photograph, this one does not need to be current, a U.S. passport, book, or card, and if you don't have an ID or cannot obtain one due to a reasonable impediment, you'll need to sign a sworn statement that there is a reason why you don't have any of the acceptable IDs and present either a certified birth certificate, including a foreign birth document, if it is admissible in a court of law, a valid voter registration certificate, or a current utility bill, government check, bank statement, or paycheck, or a government document with your name and address.
A recent New York Times/Siena College poll shows Vice President Kamala Harris has taken a slim lead over Donald Trump in the race for the White House, with 49% support compared to Trump's 46%. This marks the first time Harris has led in this poll since President Biden exited the race. As the election approaches, Harris is gaining traction on the issues of temperament, trust, and change, particularly among older voters and some Republicans. While Trump maintains advantages among male voters and is trusted more on the economic management, Harris is viewed as the more honest and relatable candidate. This race remains close, with significant voter concerns about the economy influencing opinions and both candidates appealing to undecided voters as they prepare for the final stretch of the campaign.
Hey Panthers, I'm Bailey, and welcome to My Picks of the Week, where every week I'll bring you a new podcast, book, or documentary to keep you entertained and informed. This week, because we're focusing on the presidential debates, if you haven't watched them yet, I implore you to do so. You can find the September 10th presidential debate between candidates Donald Trump and incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris streamed on YouTube from ABC, MSNBC, The Wall Street Journal, and many more, as well as the C-SPAN website, Hulu Plus Live, and PBS. The October 1st vice presidential debate between Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz can be watched on YouTube through CBS, NBC Face the Nation, and CNN. You can also watch just the key points through the BBC website. You can even listen to the full audios of the Harris-Trump debate on Spotify, posted by ABC News, and the Vance-Walz debate, posted by NBC Nightly News. By watching the debates, you are taking a step to become an informed citizen and voter. Those are my picks of the week. So whether you're looking to engage with thought-provoking content or explore new interests, I hope you found something that resonates with you. I'm Bailey Boyce. Thanks for watching.
When it comes to politics, it is important now more than ever to sift through the noise and get to the truth behind the headlines. Today, we're going to dive into some of the most talked about statements and claims surrounding the presidential debate, providing you with clear and evidence-based insights. I'm Corey Talton. Let's check the facts. During the September 10th debate between candidates Donald Trump and incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump stated, "I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country." This statement is false. Inflation reached a peak of 9.1% in 2022, but has since decreased to 2.9% as of July. Despite this decline, prices, especially for food, remain elevated. Global inflation has been driven by factors like supply chain issues post-pandemic and the impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. U.S. government spending during the Biden and Trump administrations also contributed by increasing disposable income. Although many Americans are frustrated by the prices, average wages have risen faster than consumer prices since the pandemic began, giving workers more buying power. Since February 2020, wages increased by 23% compared to a 21.6% rise in consumer prices. However, since early 2021, consumer prices have risen 19.6%, while wages have increased by 16.9%, indicating that wage gains have outpaced price increases for over a year. During the same debate, VP Harris claimed Trump's tax cuts create a $5 trillion deficit, stating, "My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in a $5 trillion deficit." This is true. A May report from the Congressional Budget Office found that extending the Trump tax cuts for 10 years would increase the federal deficit by $4.6 trillion. Vice President Harris referred to Trump's proposal to raise tariffs on nearly all imported basic goods by 10% and up to 60% on goods from China. Economists, including those from the Center for American Progress, warned that these tariffs would raise costs for consumers, potentially adding about $3,900 in expenses for the average middle-class family. During the October 1st vice presidential debate between Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Vance claimed Harris has not invested in clean air, clean water, or climate policy, stating, "If we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is double down and invest in American workers and the American people." And unfortunately, Kamala Harris has done the exact opposite. This is false. Under the Biden administration, the Inflation Reduction Act allocated $370 billion for climate policy, marking the largest investment in domestic clean energy manufacturing. The funding supports not only wind and solar energy, but also nuclear power, hydrogen technology, battery production, and carbon capture. According to CBS News, more states are investing in clean energy than ever, with red states experiencing higher investments and job growth in the sector compared to blue states. During the same debate, Walz claimed patients had to pay $800 for insulin before the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act during the Biden administration, stating $35 insulin is a good thing, but it costs $5 to make insulin. They were charging $800 to make it before the law went into effect. This is partially true, but requires more context. Researchers have estimated the production cost of various insulin medicines, often revealing that monthly supplies can be produced for just a few dollars. One study from January, highlighted by Doctors Without Borders, suggested that reusable insulin pens could be manufactured for as little as $96 per year or $8 per month. In contrast, the Biden administration noted that the list price for a 30-day supply of Novo Nordisk's insulin pens was $495 in 2023. However, these list prices don't account for numerous confidential markups and rebates, which complicate the actual costs paid by insurers and patients. That's a wrap for today's Fact Check. Join us next time as we continue to unravel the facts and myths in our ever-evolving world. Until then, I'm Corey Talton, and don't forget to check the facts.
Hello, Panthers. My name is Denise Brown, and I am the president of the Prairie View A&M chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists. And I'm here with a very important message regarding our upcoming November 5th election. Early voting in Texas has officially begun. The first day for early voting in Texas was Monday, October 21st, and will continue through November 1st. Students registered in Waller County are able to vote at the Brookshire Convention Center, Waller Civic Center, Waller County Community Center, and the Waller County Annex Building. Prairie View students have always been at the forefront of these democratic processes. Each election is our chance for our voices to be heard. So don't hesitate. Remember to stay educated and informed before you cast your ballot. Get out there and vote, Panthers.
That's all for this week.
Make sure to follow KPVU-TV on all social media and remember to vote.
Good night.